Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming on this webinar. And you're going to be hearing some good news from Jeff, and he's going to tell you how to save some money. Anytime we can save money, it's a good thing. So we're looking forward to hearing what Jeff has to say. And it's really about traveling for next year and the year after, and things that you should be looking for and the trends that are out there. And he's going to talk about, if anybody knows trends, it's going to be Jeff Lavender. And so we're very privileged to have him, that a part of our company that for travel, and he just does a fantastic job. Anybody that uses them absolutely just loves them. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff.
Thanks, Alfie. And again,
you.
welcome to clients and friends of ARG. It's always a pleasure to be here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about, I think we set the webinar up as things to know as you plan travel for 2026 and 2027. Here we are almost at the end of 2025. Let me also start by saying all of you guys are on mute, or everyone attending, but we'd love to take questions. So if you either want to raise your hand, excuse me, or put a question into the chat box. Madeline from my team is also on, and she'll make sure that we get the questions here. We'll probably run about 30 to 35 minutes for this. This is being recorded, and it's going to be sent out across the ARG email database on Friday. And for those of you who are here today or who had registered, you'll also get a copy generally in the next 24 to 48 hours. So look for that. I want to come at today, and I love talking travel. I'm going to just kind of give you the lay of the land, the landscape, things to know for 2026 and 2027, some trends, also best values, where you can get the best value for travel, how to plan, what to think about, and hopefully you'll find this interesting. Let me start by saying, though, first of all, and you guys are going to notice me putting my glasses on and off. Mary said I looked better if you guys could see my eyes, but I do have to put my glasses on so I can read my notes. But let me just start by saying, even with the government shutdown, for those of you who are planning travel in the future, this is not affecting TSA. It's not affecting immigration. It should not affect your travel in any way if you're traveling in the next months. If any of you have not yet applied to have your passports extended, and keep in mind that whenever you travel anywhere internationally, your passport has to be valid for at least 6 months from the date you come home. There could be some delays now in the passport offices if you're applying for a renewal. So keep that in mind as you're determining whether or not your passport needs to be renewed. We use third-party expediting services in order to move things through more quickly. If you need some suggestions on how to do that. But we don't anticipate any delays or anything related to travel confusion, because TSA, global entry, all those other features are deemed essential for travelers. So keep that in mind. As long as I'm talking a little bit about documentation and tips for travel, let me also just say, have your passport. And if you travel with friends or children or others and you're thinking about multi-generation, go ahead and get one anyway and have it in place. Everyone should apply for TSA PreCheck. We can help you understand how to do that, although we can't handle your application. Global entry as well. There are quicker ways to get your interview for global entry, and we can kind of guide you through that. And I have been getting questions recently, is it valuable to sign up for Clear? Clear, many of you will see, particularly in South Florida, and if you're in the Orlando area or Miami or others, Clear is a biometric mechanism to identify you, which actually bypasses, it's like TSA on steroids. So you actually move to the front of the TSA line. And many credit card companies, American Express Platinum, Chase Sapphire, and others, they will reimburse you for your Clear membership. You can apply online, or if you're at an airport, you can apply for Clear right at the airport and be approved immediately. So keep that in mind. The other thing that is a new trend that we're seeing for 26 and 27 is the introduction of what's called ETAs, Electronic Travel Authorities. It's a fancy type of visa, and countries across Europe now are putting it into place. It's basically a tourist tax. It's positioned as we want to know who's coming into our country and where they're coming from, et cetera. But it's another way to collect 20, 30, $50 per person, depending on where you're going. It's generally applied for on your phone, and already in place for countries like Australia, New Zealand, and elsewhere. But Europe is introducing this Europe-wide. It's already in place in the UK. So if you're planning travel in Europe into 2026, make sure you talk to us about whether or not you'll need your ETA, or the other fancy term is called ETIS. But generally, with a valid passport and ETAs, you'll have what you need. Fewer and fewer countries are using the old visa approach. They've kind of switched to the ETA because they're faster to get. But again, think of it as something that you get an app on your phone, you apply, and then it appears and shows up that way. So a quick little thing to remember about documentation. High level, what's happening in travel? We are, as an industry, and Travel Concierge as a business, busier than ever. We love it, but it can be a little bit frustrating at times. And let me explain why. The whole world is traveling, everyone. We're Americans, North America, and yes, we're the largest travel market in the world. And we send more people out of the United States, given our size, than most any other country in the world. What we sometimes fail to remember is when we want to go to the Amalfi Coast, so do the Chinese, so do the Japanese, so do the South Africans, so do the New Zealanders, so do the British. Every destination, virtually without exception, is busy. I've never seen, well, I have seen it like this, but it was pre-COVID. So the demand for travel is extraordinary. We've added 4 people to our company in order to keep up with the demand. We have additional now travel planners and travel designers that can work with our clients in order for that to happen. But what that means is a couple of things. Number one, prices are increasing. With the demand, with the high occupancies in hotels, with the high occupancies on cruise ships, and for tour companies, everybody is seeing an opportunity to raise pricing, and people are paying it. And because we work often with the vendors who provide travel for smaller groups, or ships that are under 600 passengers, or tout tours that are 30 passengers or under, or smaller groups that are 15 passengers or under, they're selling out very, very quickly. And for those of you who know me, you'll know that I am not the push you guy. I never try to sell anybody on anything, but I am the think ahead guy, plan ahead guy. And if there's an overarching opinion or advice I have for anybody watching this, plan ahead. We like it if you will bring us your bucket list for the next 2 to 3 years. If you'll come to us with the 4 or 5 major trips or life events or things that you're thinking about, it could be a 50th wedding anniversary, a 75th birthday, a multi-generational trip, a educational trip, we want to go here, we've always wanted to go to Antarctica, we've always wanted to do an African safari, et cetera. If you will come to us with your ideas, what we love to do is sit down with you, generally on a Zoom call. We record it, we keep notes, everything is there. We can capture it for you to help you think through when to do these things, what they will cost, and the wise use of capital deployment. And this is why we love working with Alfie and his team at Advantage. They help you create wealth and deploy it wisely. Our part is to help you deploy your assets wisely when it comes to the issues of travel. How are you spending your money? When do you need to spend it? Are you getting the value for everything that you need? And our part is to sit alongside you and help you kind of plot those trips in, determine where and when you might want to go. And something you'll hear me say over and over and over and over again: use deposits strategically. What do I mean by that? You can book a river cruise now for 2028 or 2027. Let's say you've always wanted to cruise on the Danube or the Douro in Portugal or the Mekong in Vietnam. You can hold your space generally for less than $1,000 and not pay in full until 4 to 5 months before you go. So if someone was interested in a river trip in fall of 2027, we can reserve that now. The price is locked in, the dates are locked in, the deposit is minimal. You can do things for a few $100s up to a few thousand, but generally not more. Your space is locked in, and generally final payment is not due until 4 or 5 months before you travel. It's a little bit flexible on that, but then you can go to your wealth advisor with Alfie and others and say, here's where and how I'm going to need access to capital in order to pay for these things. So with the demand that we're seeing all over the world and the increase in prices, just getting space is becoming a challenge. Let us help you do that and bring us your 4 or 5 ideas, and we can help you place and plan for them. Generally, what we see is clients have one big trip a year and then a couple of little trips along the way. So their budgets, et cetera, kind of go like that. The other thing I'd like to just kind of give you my perspective on why, again, is there this pressure on pricing? Number one, it's demand. And number two, there's been a huge consolidation in the travel industry of who owns these companies. All of the cruise lines now are generally rolled up into these multi-billion-dollar corporations, the Carnival Corporation, the Norwegian Corporation, the Royal Caribbean Corporation. They own all of these brands. They're publicly traded. There is huge pressure on these companies to squeeze every dollar out of the cruise fare, to reduce amenities. And I'm seeing more fixed pricing than I've ever seen before. We used to have a little bit more flexibility with Silver Sea, for example, or Royal Caribbean or Celebrity or some of the other brands, to push for some extra concessions or potentially onboard credits or others. That's coming to an end. And they're locking in pricing with very little flexibility. And so the pressure, again, is the marketplace, Wall Street, in making sure that each of these major brands are producing profitability for their investors. And there are very few private companies left in the tourism industry where there's a little bit more flexibility and not the pressure that you see in the Wall Street world. Tauk would be a great example of a family-owned business where they're family held, they're private, and there's a little bit more flexibility. But others are being scooped up. And again, it's because major investors are seeing huge opportunities in the demand for travel. So it's happening, this consolidation is happening in the cruise line business, in the hotel business, in the river ship business, in the tour operator business. Our role, you don't have to remember all of this. Our role is to help navigate through this and to put the right recommendations in place. My message is plan ahead. You're going to hear me say that 10 times today. Pick a trip, place a deposit, and if you need to cancel, even if you're planning for travel in 2027, late 26 or 27, generally the cancellation fees are minimal, or we can protect that with travel insurance. The other thing I want to say is the entry point for travel. I started this business, I like to say, when I was in the womb, but it was a long, long, long time ago. And I remember one of the first trips I planned for clients, and I was a teenager at the time. They were going to Hawaii. They booked a suite at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel, and the price was $97 a night. I thought that was extortionate. Those rooms now are $1,500 a night. The new average daily rate in hotels is easily $1,000. Good rules of thumb for luxury cruising, look for $1,000 per person per day. And if you can keep it below that, it's a great value. More and more, they're approaching $1,200 a day, $1,500 a day per person. And why, again, does that matter? Because to make trips now, the new kind of baselines, $25,000, $40,000, $60,000. And you're going to, Jeff, how does that happen? Think about it. Round trip airfare, business class to Europe, for example, $6,000 per person. You can go for 1,000 if you want to sit in the back. You can go for 3,000 if you want to ride premium economy. But let's just assume for a second, 6,000 per person round trip, two people, $12,000 for air, $1,000 a day per person for a 7-day Greek cruise. You're at $20,000 right there, not including transfers and all of these other things that go along with it, and maybe a few pre-days and post-days. So the types of numbers that we're seeing, which are kind of the minimum investments for travel, think 25, 35, 50, 75. And I'm not bragging here, but I'm working with clients now that they are not blinking at $150,000 for a vacation. They tend to be very high end and private and fully taken care of. And yes, you can do wonderful trips for $3,500 too. We know it all. I'm just giving you a sense of why plan ahead and how to think about the investments that you're going to need to make in these more costly times. That leads to two more tips that I would like to give you. Number one, where can I go in the world right now where there's better value for my travel dollars? Europe right now, add 20% to every dollar you plan to spend in Europe. Why? Because the euro and the dollar, the exchange rate is terrible for Americans traveling in Europe. It's generally 118 to 120. $1 buys about 80 cents, 82 cents in a euro. So if you're looking at, excuse me, euro pricing and you have to convert that back to dollars, it's 20% higher. And Europe costs were higher anyway because of service charges, taxes, et cetera. Huge demand as well, always for Italy, always for France, always for Spain, and increasingly now in Norway. So anytime you think about travel in the European bloc, 20% higher, obviously great destinations and wonderful things that you'd like to see, but keeping that. But you say, where could we go that we're going to get greater value? Canada, great places to see. Australia and New Zealand are terrific values. Right now, the downside is the time to travel, the cost of travel to New Zealand. It's a 15-hour nonstop just from Los Angeles to get to Auckland or Sydney. But it is generally offset by what you're paying on land for those destinations. And I would also say great value in South America. South America is becoming more and more interesting. It's a terrifically diverse continent, from Antarctica in the south to Chile to Patagonia to Mendoza to Argentina. Terrific cities. If you say, I don't want to pay to go to Paris, I would say to you, let's go to Buenos Aires. It's the Paris of South America. These are generally safe places. There's some places we would want to stick away from, and I'm probably not the guy who's going to suggest you spend a week in Rio de Janeiro. But further out in Brazil is a great possibility and a location as well. So values on where you may be thinking about travel. Europe is going to be the most expensive. Least or best value, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South America, and of course, North America is also a possibility as well. Caribbean is up a little bit, but that may help you. And India can be also a terrific value. It's quite low cost and it's a terrific destination. It may not always be on what you were thinking about initially, but culturally magnificent. You just kind of have to be ready for the sights, the sounds, and the population that's there. Asia, very expensive. Japan, astronomical. China, somewhat. But again, let me keep going back. As we love to work with clients for 1 to 5 years in advance, some of these more expensive destinations can be places you are thinking about, and we can help you determine when and where you could deploy your assets and resources in order to make these happen. If I might, I would like to share for just a moment on where have I been and where am I going, just to give you some perspective. My terrible job, he says with a smile, is I have to do all these wonderful trips all around the world and see what's happening and what's going on. This year, so far, We've been up in Montana and Wyoming, better understanding the whole Dude Ranch, kind of grand west, spacious kind of world. And we've had clients that have been traveling in Montana, and that's been terrific, great destination for families if you're thinking about doing something out west. This summer, we did an Alaska cruise on Silver Sea, and I can see now why a lot of our clients go back to Alaska over and over and over. It's a very fair price for what you wish to do. It's not necessarily a long duration in order to get there. There's wonderful products that sail up and down. I just did an Alaska cruise yesterday for clients booking next summer. And on this idea of $1,000 per person per day, we actually brought in they're traveling Silver Sea in August of 2026, and the price came in at about $5,100 per person. That's all inclusive, right? All your meals, butlers, Wi-Fi, gratuities, alcohol. And so that was a great value. But Alaska, never forget, it's a place you can visit over and over. We then jumped on the Rocky Mountaineer, that very famous rail trip that goes from Vancouver to Banff. And it's terrific as a place to go. My high point of the year was an 11-day trip to Japan. I have
Hey, Jeff.
been, yes.
We have a question from Reese. Is that correct? I unmuted you, so if you want to go ahead and ask it. Reese?
And here, Reese. Or type it in the box, in the chat box.
Yeah,
And
just make sure you unmuted yourself. They were under another name, Dale and Jane, and they said, this isn't Dale and Jane, this is Reese, and then they had a question.
Reese, can you ask your question?
We don't hear him. I'll
Kind
circle
of
back with him.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see one, kind of concerned with safety. Seems like Europe is being invaded. In some locations, there has been some anti-tourism sentiments. You saw that particularly in Spain, in Barcelona this summer. And but here's what happens in these situations: the news media and the travel industry monitors these things very, very carefully, and the police in those countries, because they don't want to damage the tourism at all, they pretty much clamp down on these things pretty quickly. Um, I'm not particularly concerned about any travel anywhere in Europe, but anywhere we go these days, we always have to be aware of what's going on. And we also pay attention to the State Department guidelines in terms of destinations that could be safe or not. And Reese, my name is...
It's Janine, actually.
Hi, Janine. Janine, what was your question?
She was the one who was concerned about the
Okay.
safety in Europe.
Safety.
Had the wrong name registered it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Janine.
I'm pretty confident, everybody, on travel. Clearly, we're not sending people to Colombia and certain parts of Mexico and others. And our job in here as well is to monitor situations and make sure that our clients are always in safe places. I did want to comment again on my trip to Japan this year. Again, please hear me. It's not, this is Jeff talking about where he's been. No, this is Jeff telling you about it. I had no idea what a fantastic destination it was. We did Japan in depth, 11 days, 10 nights, probably one of the best trips I've ever made. From sumo wrestling to learning how to use samurai swords, to the mountains, to the onsens, to Tokyo, to Kyoto, to the temples. It's really, really terrific. And there's two ways you can consider going, which is on land only, or do a cruise around the whole country. The one thing I have to say about it is it's incredibly expensive. But wow, what a place. So something in order to keep in mind. One of the other things I wanted to point out in planning ahead and where we've been and where we're going. And by the way, I hope everybody likes my Aloha shirt. I just got back 2 nights ago from the Big Island of Hawaii, one of my also all-time favorite places. I was at the new Mauna Kea Beach Resort. It was built in 1965 by Lawrence Rockefeller. It's a favorite of mine because of its architecture. It was the first resort on that side of the island, probably one of the most beautiful bays. They just did a $200 million renovation. It's ready for new customers. And if anyone on here is a golfer, we have a golf group traveling there in September of 2026, playing 3 courses, the top 3 on the Big Island. And if you're looking for a family destination or something wonderful to do, that's great. Other emerging destinations that we're seeing, they're driven a lot by the biggest amount of money right now is going into river cruising. So river cruising has always kind of been dominated by 3 or 4 major brands: AMA Waterways, Uniworld, Scenic, Viking, and others. What's happening now is the luxury cruise ships like Celebrity and others are now expanding out of the ocean world into the river world. They're kind of trying to imitate Viking. Viking is very popular with our clients. They're a well-known brand, and they have expedition ships, they have classic ocean ships, and they have river ships. And Celebrity now is following that, and they'll be introducing some river ships, I believe late 26 or early 27. But it's also because of demand. River cruising remains immensely popular, and there's wide range of pricing all the way up and down. And the other side of the other thing where there is huge investment is in luxury yachting. So Four Seasons yachts are coming out. It used to be in the cruise business, right? There were the huge ships, 5,000 people, 4,000, 3,000, 1,000. Then there's kind of the Silver Sea, Regent, Seabourn. They have about 600 to around 300 passengers. Well, a lot of our luxury clients are those who want more space and more service and more amenities. The demand for that now is being met by Four Seasons. So you not only have Four Seasons resorts, but now you have Four Seasons yachts, which generally have 100 people on board. The guest to staff ratio is very, very amazing in terms of services. The ports that you go in and out of, they come with as you can imagine, a nice price related to that. Ritz-Carlton is increasing their yacht services as well. Scenic, it also has other yachts that are under development. So this is that place between just chartering a private yacht, maybe for your family of 7 to 12 to 20. This middle range is, it's not my yacht, I didn't want to charter it, but I want a yachting experience. And then from there, you kind of jump into what we call classic ocean. And the other big trend is more and more private. There's a lot of clients who are like, I don't want to travel with anybody. I want to be able to fully customize my trip, fully customize my vacation. I want somebody to meet me at every airport, drive me to my hotel, take me on private tours just for me and our family from 2, 4, 6, or 8. And we have companies that this is what they specialize in, fully private. Interesting point, however, and again, this is where I say sometimes I see the pricing of what some of these things cost, and I like to say my eyebrows arch. If you go fully private with drivers, guides, cars, you'll be paying around $3,000 per day for that. So if you're thinking I want a fully private trip in France for 10 days with wine, champagne, Normandy, Paris, guides, easily $25,000 just for 7 days, fully private. That would be inclusive of your hotels, by the way, as well. So when you kind of compare that and then your air on top of it. On the other end of the spectrum, and keep in mind, we talk to clients who are all over the place in terms of the budgets they have to deploy. You can do a lot of this on your own, and the favorite place to go if you're ever wondering, where can I find what to do in a particular location? Check out Viator, Viator, Viator.com. Some of you will know this. Viator is the world leading company owned by TripAdvisor. I used to be a senior vice president there. I know this company well. and can absolutely vouch for them. It's the list of everything you can do everywhere. If you just want a private tour of the Louvre, or you want to join a small group in a tuk-tuk in Bangkok, or you want to be at your own set, go to viator.com and you'll see everything. They have everything for oftentimes generally just hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars. So when we work with clients who are they're saying to us, Jeff, I'll spend my money over here, but not over here. We have solutions for everything that you do. I often say that our business is not dissimilar to a client. If you were an interior designer, or I was an interior designer, and someone came, I want to redo our kitchen. People get out the Architectural Digest magazine and they rip out the pictures of their favorite kitchens, or the granite, or the Sub-Zero, or the LG, or whatever it is they want. And they bring it to the interior designer and they go, we want something like this. This is our space, this is our budget, and this is our timeline. It's the same for travel. We love it when people bring us their concepts and say, I always thought about a trip to Italy that includes. And that's where we go to work, and we work with you either generally iteratively and collaboratively. So I know I tend to be jumping around here, but there's a lot of other things I want to cover. I also want to say that another big trend is multi-generational travel. This is generally when the grandparents decide, and please hear this with the humor for which I intend, why are we leaving our kids this money? Let's all go together as a family somewhere amazing and create memories and enjoy being with each other. We get this a lot. Oftentimes it's done around a 50th wedding anniversary, or a 75th birthday, or a 70th birthday. And there will be 12 to 15 to 18. 9 to 18 is generally, if you think about family that has 3 kids, perhaps husbands and grandkids. And we work with them on planning a trip. What's really big these days is the rent of really nice private villas. And I'm a big believer, when families get together, don't just get a bunch of hotel rooms right next to each other. And you have to go meet in the lobby in order to have your breakfast. Let's rent a villa. It's often less expensive. By the time you think of 8 nights or 7 nights in 5 different hotel rooms all together, and then you have to pay for breakfast and all the meals, a 7-bedroom villa beachfront in St. Martin. We happen to be doing it for a family celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary next March, or his 70th birthday next March. When we compared the two, 7 rooms, 7 nights, St. Martin, Belmont, versus a beautiful home that comes with a chef, housekeeping, all the fun toys, everything you could possibly want to do. It's not as bad as you think. It's still eyebrow arching, but think of it in the sense of investment and the chance and the time to be with the family and create memories around all of these particular things that are going on. So again, hear me kind of recap trends going on, plan ahead, let us work with you as it relates to placing deposits strategically, thinking into 26 and 27. We are even doing bookings now for people in 2028. And you may sit there and you go, but I don't even know if I'm going to be able to travel. We know that. But oftentimes your major deployment of resources for these clients traveling in 2028 isn't until the summer of 2027. So they're holding their space now. And if they have to cancel, the cancellation penalties are quite nominal. And you can also buy travel insurance in order to protect yourself if you have to cancel for covered reasons. We're experts in travel insurance as well, and we can guide you through what you plan to be, where you may need protection. And we can also help determine whether or not your credit cards may have some of the travel insurance coverages and the cancellation coverages that you're be thinking about. Let me just check my notes and see what else we could do. When clients ask us, Jeff, how do you work and do you charge? And no, I would say 98% of the time, there are no fees for using our services. Travel advisors like Travel Concierge, we're compensated through commissions that we earn from the suppliers that we sell. But what you'll notice is if you get the Silver Sea cruise through Travel Concierge, it's the same price as if you called them directly. So travel advisors are another distribution source for travel companies. And we're kind of, as I said, compensated. Think about it when you buy a house, the real estate agent is compensated at the point in time that the transaction takes place. So if people are booking a trip with us for 2028, I won't see any commission on that until they travel. But we love working with clients in advance. Sometimes we do charge a design fee. It's very rare, and it tends to be only at the point in time that the trip got immensely complicated and immensely customized. But these fees are not extortionate at all. And just to pick up the phone and call us or set up an appointment with myself or one of our trip designers, we don't charge for that. We love what we do, and we live through our clients vicariously on all these great trips that they wish to take. So always reach out to Madeline or myself or one of our team members, and we'll set up a call and just discuss your ideas with it. It's truly our joy in order to make that happen. The other thing that I wanted to point out is there are certain websites that you can refer to. I'm a member of probably the top luxury travel organization in the United States and globally. It's called Virtuoso. Think of the word virtuoso. And many of you are already receiving the every other month Virtuoso magazine. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a beautiful complimentary magazine. It comes out 6 times a year, and we can send it to you free of charge. We just need this is a physically mailed magazine. It's really lovely on trips and things from all over the world. And if you want to reach out to me or Madeline at jefflavender.com, we'll put you on the mailing list for that. And again, that's entirely complimentary. Enjoy it. And there's also the virtuoso.com website, which allows you to go in and see cruises and hotels and cars and destinations. It's a terrific asset for you there. So feel free at any point in time to reach out to us. The other thing is we've talked a lot about big trips today, Europe or Australia or New Zealand or Japan or China or wherever we were talking about. Think of us as well. We're really not who you need to call if you just need flights inside the United States. Just do those yourself on whoever you fly, southwest.com or others. We have an entire air department. We can help you with that, but there's a charge per ticket and you can save that. For all of your international flights, please come to us because we often have highly negotiated prices for you in economy, first, and business. So if you'd ever like us to price that, we've got a whole team that just does air. And some of you may be just doing a little getaway, maybe 3 days, 4 nights, Seattle, New York City, Dallas, out west, whatever. Please come to us, even for things like that. And here's why. We have access to hotel pricing that generally comes with many more amenities. Our agreements with the hotel companies we represent, most of them, free breakfast, which is a big deal these days. I mean, it was $85 for the buffet at the Mauna Kea. Thank God it was included in my price, right? Room upgrades on time of arrival, early check-in, late checkout, free Wi-Fi, and generally they come with an additional $100 of food and beverage credit, which you can use. So if you're even just going to New York or Dallas or wherever, please ask us. And we'll be able to provide you those additional amenities because again, the dollars that you're spending, squeeze and get the most value out of them as you can. And this is too why I always like to say when clients go, why should I use a travel advisor? I go, you don't have to. You can do all of this yourself. You can sell your house yourself. You can manage your money yourself. We're experts and we don't charge 99% of the time. And we delight in what we're doing. And I want people to understand there's the planning of the trip, there's the reservation of the trip, there's the payment of the trip, there's all of the details of the trip, and then there's the on trip. If you take care of a lot of this yourself and you end up, like I have clients right now in southern Germany and she got sick and they're trying to come home early, who do you call? You call us. If you're on your own, you take care of it yourself. So working with a travel advisor is not just planning and booking, it's everything. all the way down line. And even when you get home, if you needed to reach out because you didn't get your frequent flyer miles, we'll guide you in that. So our relationship with our clients is soup to nuts, beginning to end. And we love to add amenities. We love to add additional value. And here's the other thing. I say this, please hear it with humility. I know everybody in this industry all over the world and can make things happen for our clients behind the scenes. And generally, we don't tell you. We like to surprise you with things that you may not have anticipated. But generally, every hotel or tour operator or whatever, when a client of Travel Concierge arrives, they know it. That's one of the things we love to do, is because we say in our tagline, because experience matters. Not only my experience and the experience of my team, but your experience too. So I know we have gone over everything, and let me just check the time here. We're at about 10:45. For me, I'm out in San Diego. I'm going to open it up for any other questions, and then we will bring this to a close. Any question?
If anyone has a question, they just want to raise their hand, I'll unmute you. I'll unmute you.
One more thing. A lot of clients ask, Jeff, where are you going next? 3 things you might want to keep in mind. I think sure, a lot of times I'm a guest of a hotel or sometimes of a cruise line or others, but less than you may think. A lot of times I'm paying full fare on these things. And so I'm looking for great value. I found 3 things that are of great value for 2026 that I'm doing. Number 1, I have a group of people on Silver Sea traveling from Barbados to Lisbon from March 2nd to March 15th, 2026. Why did I choose this wonderful trip? Because it has about 6 days at sea plus 4 ports. And my wife is traveling with me, and we love sea days, the fresh air, being at sea. I take my laptop. We have satellite connectivity. Plus, we get to be with other friends and on a beautiful ship. Please join us if you'd like something good. And the pricing for transoceanic without a lot of ports is less expensive than you might believe. I think the ship is nearly sold out, but that's one. Number 2, another trip that I just found is sailing the west coast of the United States. It's from Vancouver to San Diego. And keep in mind, I live in San Diego, and we have a cache of clients that are here in the Southern California area. I know many of you are East Coast, but it sails August 17th to August 24th on Crystal. The new Crystal, well upgraded, many of you may know it. And it's Eureka, Napa Valley, San Francisco, Oregon, Victoria, and finishes in San Diego. And again, terrific pricing, quite low. It's a repositioning cruise. We've got our golf group back to the Big Island if you're golfers in September. One of our other team members is leading a group in Northern Europe, sailing from right downtown London on the London Bridge. We have a group potentially forming for India. We have another Alaska group. I believe it's with Regent next summer. So there's opportunities to travel with me specifically or other members of the Travel Concierge team. So keep that in mind. We'd love to have you join us. Any thoughts or questions? Nope. All right.
Jeff, I also provided a link to our Join Us collection on the trips you were talking about. I put it in our chat box in case anyone wanted more detail.
Okay. Listen, I know this was like drinking water through a fire hose today. There's so much to think about for travel. Our great joy is getting to know the clients of ARG, Alfie, and his team, working side by side to understand your goals, your desires, your dreams, helping make those a reality. And because it takes money to make these things happen, I always laugh at Alfie and I'll say, Alfie, we can help them spend it. You need to help them make it and protect it. and he does that. This again has been recorded. Thank you for your attention. You'll get a copy as this. I'm Jeff at jefflavender.com. I think you'll see my phone number. If you need to reach out, please let us help you and discuss all things travel. Thanks everybody today for your attention and your time.